welcome back to Lang Park, and the Queensland side has just come out. We've had a display of fireworks, and the fireworks will start. There's Wally Lewis, Gene the side up now. Tessman in 13, Gene Miles in number 4. 11 is Dave Brown. 9, Wally Fullerton Smith. There's Dave Brown, the Manly front rower. And by gee, had a big game when he came in the first Series 1 game. Mitch Brennan, of course, also playing. There's Tessman with a headband. Mark Murray, the halfback, and what a clash that'll be with Stevie Mortimer tonight. They're both players toured England. Mark Murray playing some tests. He went along with Sterling, and of course Mortimer dying to get that number 7 jumper for Australia. But Mark Murray, a very good player, let me tell you. Mal Meninga, the big Queensland policeman, the powerhouse. He can run, he can kick, he can tackle, and he can score points. Mal Meninga, we're expecting a very big performance from him tonight. And here's the hooker, Greg Canescu. Many say a very slow player and has a bit of trouble winning the ball, but a good player too. Ian Maurice, out come New South Wales.
Max Grillage leading the boys out. Steve Mortimer and Gavin Miller. Neil Hunt and the fireworks starting at Lang Park even before the kickoff. Stan Jerd, Lindsay Johnson. A mixed reception for the New South Wales side. Fireworks in the sky. Steve Mortimer, big test for Steve tonight. And Max Grillage, who'll lead the New South Wales side. Certainly a disjointed looking side, but I've never known a New South Wales side with a greater will to win than this side we have tonight. Paul Field, Cootamundra. Never experienced this atmosphere before. Toss of the coin between the two captains, and there's the referee Robin Whitfield from England, who will be in charge of this game tonight. A crowd of 30-odd thousand, and just feel that tension. Decider is underway. New South Wales in possession. Chris Anderson taking the ball up. These first few tackles will be heavy. Gavin Miller. Lindsay Johnson. You'll see plenty of that tonight, plenty of kicking as Gavin Miller. Down for Colin Scott for Queensland. Chris Anderson there to make the tackle with Mick Cronin. Mitch Brennan recalled to the Queensland side for this match. Murray. A misunderstanding. Lewis picks up the dregs. Got it away to Meninga. The first break of the match to Meninga.
Brilliant covering tackle there by Mortimer. He's great in this role.
And the first penalty, Robin Whitfield catching the New South Wales players inside the 5 metres. And boy, what a golden opportunity for Queensland to start this match with 2 points. The penalty awarded right in front. And about 5 metres outside the quarter line, Meninga obviously will kick for goal.
Keep back. Whitfield said, the referee said he'd be very strict on the 5 yards, and he'll do just that all night, both in attack and defence. So hopefully he'll allow it to flow, the game, but he'll be strict on the things that he's told both coaches.
Robin Whitfield, who controlled the first test in Auckland some weeks ago and will have the second test here on the 9th of July. Mal Meninga from right in front. Simple kick for him. Well, a great one off for New South Wales. Meninga missing the kick. So New South Wales have the opportunity to restart with a 22-metre drop kick. Bad mistake from Meninga.
Yes, it was one that he should have potted, not a hard kick for him.
Cronin restarting down to Paul Borton. Colin Scott beat one tackle. Beat the tackle of Bugden before he was caught. Dave Brown and Queensland get the penalty. Referee Whitfield saying that he wants the tackles below the neck. Gavin Miller and Max Krilich going in pretty high. Lindsay Johnson. This was probably that tackle of Johnson that caused the penalty.
Mr. Miller's swinging arm, I think, Ian.
Dave Brown. Queensland now inside the New South Wales quarter. Liebling 10 metres out from the New South Wales line. A planned move. Who has it? Morton. It's a good set move from Queensland. Still 10 metres outside the New South Wales line. Scott. 3 metres out. Pressure for New South Wales. Murray. A step. And a try. Greg Canescu was there to take that pass from Murray. What a start for Queensland. Murray looked as if he was confused. Watch it. Murray stepped off his right foot. Beat Stan Jurt's tackle. Was able to offload. The pass looked as if it went astray, but Canescu was there to pick it up and score the first try of the night.
That'll put Queensland tails right up. That's just what they wanted. Great work there by Murray. Stood in the tackle. But Canescu was right. Johnny on the spot to go over for a great try.
And Queensland 4 lead New South Wales 0. Mal Meninga's conversion attempt right between the post. Queensland 6, lead New South Wales 0. Back live and Stan Jurd in possession for New South Wales on the Queensland 22. Paul Field. Set back for New South Wales in the opening minutes. They've got to strike back early now. Bugden losing the ball, bad mistake, and Queensland come away with it on their own quarter line.
Thank you, Ian. Well, again, Wally Lewis quick on the loose pass, and he was there for that first try. This is Testman. Jordan Anderson, the tacklers. Stacey, the winger, was rather impressive in the first game, Arthur.
He's a good player, yes. It's pleasing for Queensland to have him back in the side, but these strong tackles are jarring the ball from New South Wales. They must retain possession when they've got it for their 6 tackles.
Gene Miles Conescu, the try scorer. Dave Brown. Tackled by Miller and Bugden. Conescu. Here's the kick from Lewis. Well-placed kick too, bouncing, but taken by Anderson. Anderson bottled up with some heavy defence. Well, that was a pretty ordinary pass from New South Wales. They need to be a little more constructive than that. Krilich, Mortimer, looking for runners all the time. That's Johnston. Tessman and Conescu. Also Niebling in there to tackle. They come the blind side through Mortimer. There's Cronin. Nice pass out to Anderson. Reaches forward to take it and runs into a brick wall.
Smothering cover defence there by Vaughton. He gets across very quickly.
Penalty, there was a little knock on there. That'll force the scrum right on the halfway line. And Robin Whitfield, a very technical referee.
He's also got them back at least 10 metres. He's very severe on this to give both sides the opportunity to move. And he's scrumming, putting the ball in from...
Here's the pack weights. Queensland 550 kilograms. New South Wales 557 kilograms. Penalty to Queensland.
Yes, the referee's also putting the ball in from the open side of the field, not the blind side. Bit restrictive for halfbacks, but opens up the blind side for play there.
Mr. Queensland, Wally Lewis. That kick will take play 10 metres this side of the New South Wales 22. Dave Brown. Oh, big run from Brown and some good tackling too from Stan Jerd. Max Krilich. This is Niebling. Niebling, little opening there for Niebling. Conescu dummy half, inside the 22. Looking for runner, set move again. This time New South Wales wrapped up with Mortimer doing a lot of tackling. Lewis. This is Vaughton. Vaughton. That's a better tackle from New South Wales. Field and Miller. Murray. Murray darting away, gets a pass away, Murray. Paul Field has fallen on it, but it's been a knock on again. So this scrum about 12 metres out from the New South Wales line.
New South Wales a bit slow to come up in defence. They must get up quickly to make the tackle.
Queensland have won the first 3 penalties, but this time the penalty going to New South Wales.
Again going down in the scrum. The hookers are not allowed to go down. Another point that this referee continually makes to the hookers: must stand up and pack square to the goal line.
Mick Cronin, the New South Wales centre, kicks for the Blues. Back up New South Wales. This is Johnston, runs into Dave Brown and also Tessman. Max Krilich. Out to Jerd. Jerd pushing away Tessman. Krilich. Mortimer. Now they're starting to swing it to Cronin, but straight away Queensland up on Cronin. Murray and Lewis. Mortimer kicks. Taken by Scott though. And Scott takes it back to the Blues. Arthur Beetson having the first of the night. And Ian Maurice, Queensland back on the attack.
And looking pretty good too, but these are bad mistakes from Queensland. Misunderstanding. Mitch Brennan able to fall on it. Dispute for possession. Brennan will play it for Queensland. Well, this referee is standing back 10 metres when they play the balls. He's keeping them back a long way. Queensland taking it up strongly. The New South Wales side is offside in these play the balls. Now here's Murray and Lewis. A gap for Lewis. Deep one. Lewis has got full support doing Murray. Murray's away. Can they get to him? Can he dives and gets him? Inches from the line. Queensland on the attack again, but they get the penalty. New South Wales not allowing Murray to play the ball. Good Lewis. Straight through that tackle of Krilich and out of another one. Support from Murray. but it was Kenny coming across in cover that just nabbed him so close to the line. Now from that penalty, Mal Meninga will attempt the shot at goal.
Young Murray was very tempted to stretch out with the ball, but thought better of it, or the penalty would have gone the other way. But he was held down, not allowed to get up quickly to play the ball, and a good decision by the referee.
Well, New South Wales certainly have it all to do so far. Their defence has left a lot to be desired.
I'd agree with that. They're certainly not going up quick enough to make the tackle.
Now Mal Meninga. An angled kick. He's missed one. That one looks good to me, and it's right between the posts. Trouble for New South Wales. Queensland lead 8-0. New South Wales have a lot of work to do, Arthur.
My word, they're not going up quick enough, as I've said, but the swarming defence of Queensland is enormous. They are really a well-drilled outfit, and Arthur Beecham's got them playing great football.
Now the restart with Mick Cronin. New South Wales have looked disjointed. Mitch Brennan, oh, made a mess of it, Brennan. Made an awful mess of it. It went touch in goal after Brennan tried to take it. It was an awkward kick from Cronin, bounced awkwardly for Brennan, but I thought he had it, should have had it there, and it's gone touch in goal, so restart with a goal line dropout. And that's good news for New South Wales. Lewis, long kick down for Marty Gurr. Can't beat the defence. He'll be a worried man, Ted Glossop. His side not performing well in the opening stages of the match. Here's the Blues now. Lindsay Johnson.
They're not making the tackle there, and that's the problem. That was a pretty soft try early, and certainly feeble defence when Lewis made his long run.
Stan Jerd may have lost it, Stan. He has. Dave Brown has come up with it. Well, New South Wales can ill afford mistakes like that. Now Wally Lewis. It's all Queensland so far. Canescu. Vorton. Tessman. Able to be picked up by Miles. Back with Vorton. But New South Wales come up with it. Stanley Jerd was able to fall on it. Now it's Bugden. Cronin. Marty Gurr. Out of one tackle. Still going, Gurr. Good run. Cronin. Gavin Miller. And lost the ball, Miller. Dear, oh dear. These are terrible mistakes from New South Wales.
They're elementary ones too. They can't win games doing these sort of feeble mistakes. Very poor football so far.
Ted Glossop won't be happy with those sort of mistakes. Dave Brown.
See how far Brown was allowed to run before the tackle's actually made. That's no good.
Niebling, a player who was in doubt in this Queensland side, had pain-killing injection for an arm injury. Lewis, Miles, and still able to make plenty of ground even though he looked to be cornered. Last tackle for Queensland. Lewis's kick is a good one into the open spaces. And Lewis almost picked it up, but Meninga had it. Meninga on the corner line. He's got supporting Brennan. He won't need it. Meninga will score. No try. Oh, Meninga bombed it. Well, Meninga had plenty of support in Brennan. Elected to go on his own, which was probably the right decision, but he made a mess of it. Watch it. New South Wales taking it out. Well, Meninga certainly made a mess of that. He had support, elected to go on his own, but then made a mess at the last minute. Now Miller kicking for touch has beaten Scott. Beautifully tackled. Stacey. And Queensland looking good, Darryl.
They certainly are. And what a let-off for New South Wales with Meninga, the big powerhouse we talked about, after a beautifully placed kick from Lewis. And if I had to criticise New South Wales, they're just knocking them over as Lewis kicks again. And that's a beautiful kick from Lewis. Magnificent kick from Lewis.
He's a great player on his home ground, of course. He didn't have such a happy game in Sydney, but he's certainly controlling play here. Magnificent kick.
Well, this fellow can control the football and he can talk to it. There hasn't been a clean scrum in this match as yet, as both packs go in. Fed by Mortimer. Should be a New South Wales ball. Robin Whitfield says we'll have it again as he goes into the scrum, as English referees tend to do. Braver man than I. New South Wales ball. No, Queensland ball. Murray's beaten him to it. Got a mistake from Mortimer. Here's Morton. Lewis. Morton. Meninga. Quick hands. There's Scott. And they'll get out for Miles. But Miles brought down the great tackle. That was Miller. Colin Scott. And they've worked play to the New South Wales 22 again. Lewis. That beautiful rugby-type pass he has. Murray gets it on to Niebling. Defence comes in and meets him. Canescu. Dave Brown. Good barging run from Brown.
He's causing them a lot of trouble, isn't he, Brown?
Certainly is. Murray. Lewis. Get it back to Vaughton. Vaughton unloads again, though. And Queensland looked dangerous all the time. That was Murray. Out to Lewis, the kick. Pouring through after it. Up they go for a loose ball. Dive for the ball. Whoa, and another letter off for New South Wales. Whoa. Ted Glossop looking very calm and cool at the moment.
They're putting the proper, plenty of pressure on New South Wales.
Bugden. Grillage. Stan Jerd. Jerd out of one. Grillage. Mortimer. Saw a little gap, but it closed quickly. Tessman. Canescu. Gavin Miller. Floater out for Ella. Ella loses the ball. Towed through by Marty Gurr. Picked up by Scott. Referee says play on. Scott gets away from Gurr. Gets out of Cronin's tackle. Still going. They unload. Queensland throwing it around. Miles will play it. Fullerton Smith, who they said there was injury prone out of this game. Look at Morton busting out of tackles, but he seems to be running well, Fullerton Smith. Nice and deep Queensland. A run around again with Lewis. Lewis looking to unload all the time, but snapped down. Tessman. Tessman unloads to Meninga. He can't handle it. Juggle for the ball. Referee says penalty, New South Wales.
Yes, he was offside. He tapped the ball, Mitch Brennan, put it on the toe, and the man who was on the ground took control, and he was offside. Penalty to New South Wales.
Mick Cronin. And that kick will take New South Wales inside the 22 and a chance.
New South Wales seem to have composed themselves a little. They better organised.
Mortimer and Krillage running through now. Here's Miller. Miller slammed down quickly, though. Niebling the tackler. Krillage. Paul Field. Takes play back to the 22. Krillage. Stan Jerd. Well, Stan Jerd's putting a lot of ball down tonight. Krillage. Mortimer. This is Kenny. They're right up on Kenny. Loses the ball. Queensland pick it up. Sneebling. This is Miles. Liam Maurice, New South Wales just can't handle this ball.
Well, they look disjointed. We said that they were a disjointed team before they started. And they're certainly showing a lack of preparation out there. Queensland, of course, have been able to keep most of their side intact all through this series. And it's showing. Queensland lead 8-0. This is Murray. Brad Tessman. Last tackle for Queensland. Lewis. Gers there for the kick. Knocked back, said the referee. Beautifully tackled by Wally Lewis. Neil Hunt.
That's the difference in the two sides. A magnificent tackle of Lewis, down low, and that's what they're doing, putting the man to the ground.
Now this is Cronin looking for a runner, but nobody was willing to run. Krilich selecting Ella. Now Anderson. Inside beautifully for Ella again. Best play we see from New South Wales so far. Now Gavin Miller. Max Krilich. Beautifully tackled around the ankles by Vaughton.
Two beautiful tackles, Vaughton there. A smothering tackle earlier on Ella to stop the play, and then that one again.
Krilich is injured. Well, that was that tackle of Vaughton. Watch it. Vaughton around the ankles. And Krilich has hit his head on the ground, I'd say, Arthur, in that tackle.
Yes, I think he's bumped it. It was pretty jarring sort of a tackle. Came from behind and he dropped like a stone, and I think he's bounced his forehead off the ground.
Well, the referee also in there looking. Wally Lewis, what a magic game this fellow's having. He was in doubt with a jaw injury. It was a suspected broken jaw, but Wally always seems to recover from these injuries. Treated like a god here in Queensland.
So he should be too. He's a magnificent player up here. Queensland really should be 12, at least 12-0, because poor old Meninga flummed a very simple try.
At number 8 for Queensland, Paul Vaughton was the fellow who made the tackle on Krilich. And of course, both from Manly. I think Vaughton might have asked Max if he was okay. Time on again. New South Wales with it all to do, and Cronin putting this in the air for Scott, but it's out on the full. Well, that's the difference between the two sides when they kick. Lewis is able to put the ball anywhere. Always in the right spot, but that kick from Cronin out on the full. Scrum 10 metres outside the Queensland quarter. Queensland have already won one scrum against the feed. This is Murray. Now it's back with Lewis. Able to offload to Scott. Queensland running very freely.
And Scott's having a very big game. He's participated in a lot of the play.
Liebling out of one. Can't recall seeing so many missed tackles from New South Wales. Lewis. Stan Jerd just able to hold him. Now it's Murray and Miles. That's better tackling from the Blues. They've taken the ball. Brett Kenny is 32 metres out. Arthur Beetson would be quite pleased with his team's performance so far. Now here's Steve Mortimer. Can we see some Mortimer magic? He's been interfered with after that kick, and the referee has seen it and given the penalty. Well, the referee saw the incident and straight away was waiting for the advantage to be played before awarding the penalty. Watch it. It was Niebling coming in with a shoulder charge late on Mortimer. There's the chipped kick from Mortimer, and there's the interference. another terrible mistake from New South Wales, failing to find touch. Colin Scott taking it up for Queensland. Darryl Eastlake, New South Wales have all sorts of problems.
They really do, Ian, but I thought that patch of play was a little brighter from New South Wales. Incidentally, the two locks are doing a powerhouse of work out there. For Queensland, Vaughton has tackled 9 players, and for New South Wales, Miller an amazing 16 tackles. Queensland in possession. This is Lewis, kicking again, Lewis, to open spaces. Another great kick from Waddy Lewis. He's just picked up 40 metres on the fly.
The difference in this side is one's organised, they know exactly what they're doing, they're controlling play in both attack and defence, and the other one is totally disjointed.
What an organiser, though. He had a look, then open spaces. Scrum on the 22, New South Wales into the ground. New South Wales ball. Kenny. Tackled by that man, Lewis. We'll say his name a few thousand times tonight. Mortimer. This is Lindsay Johnston looking to unload, but no one there. Village, Miller, good pass out to Kenny. Kenny gets out of one, gets a loose pass though, picked up by Anderson. Knockback, says the referee. Marty Gurr. Paul Fields, the boy from Cootamundra. Now in the big time. Back for Marty Gurr. Relieving kick. Taken by Stacey. And the big winger brings it back for Queensland, but they take him well, the Blues.
Both sides adopting the tactics of playing it in the other side's half, both kicking from fullback, and Lewis, of course, controlling play for Queensland.
Lewis, lovely pass to Murray. Murray steps round one, gets it on to Gene Miles. Good tackle from Max Krilich. Vaughton runs from dummy half. And makes a cheap 10 metres. Lewis. Well, New South Wales slow to fall on that ball through Cronin. But the referee has said there's been a knock-on, and that'll force a scrum. Said again, here's Lewis. What a clever player. Looking to unload, gets out of fields, tackle, ball goes down. Tessman couldn't handle it. Cronin just couldn't fall on it. Meninga does. Hunt. Mortimer. Gavin Miller. This is Jerd. Jerd, that's a better run from Jerd. Tries to unload, but they back slam him down. Tessman and Brown. Tessman trying to get the hand out. Mortimer can't handle, knocks it on. Now Meninga for Queensland. Out of one, Meninga. There's an overlap for Miles. Chance for Queensland. Still going, the ball out wide. This is Stacey. Stacey in for Queensland try. And listen to the crowd. They go up. A great try from Stacey. Oh boy, what football. Watch this again. It was put down by Mortimer. Meninga picked it up. Out of one. Got it under Miles. Here was the overlap. It was there like the Sydney Harbour. As big as wide, and Stacey went all the way. Kerr comes across him, but Stacey in the corner.
Yes, again, the try set up by a lost or a fault of New South Wales, and then it was only a procession then. And bad tackles on the way for Stacey to go over and score.
Score now, 12-0 Queensland's way. We'll be back after the break. There he is, the big Brisbane policeman, goes for the goal kick attempt and gets the points too. So scoreline now, Queensland 14, New South Wales 0. Back live. Borton on the Queensland 22. Canescu. And they're just running on it through Niebling. Gets a good pass back to Murray. Overlap again. Here's Mitch Brennan. They size him up and take him this time. Dave Brown.
New South Wales badly missing the enormous work rate of Ray Price.
Gene Miles again, got a ball away, picked up quickly by New South Wales. Well, someone's going to take control for New South Wales. They've got to start directing play.
Yes, without a doubt. The only one that I felt could do that, the little genius Mortimer, if he tries these little chip kicks and gets himself back into the game quickly. He's made a blue, he's got to get on with the job.
Here's Hunt. Oh, ran into a big teeth rattler from Wally Fullerton-Smith. Stan Jerd. He's got to unload Jerd. He just can't take the tackle. Village. This is Kenny, but they're under Kenny like mud to a wet blanket. There's the kick for Max Krilic, a bit of desperation. Up they go for it. Murray takes it magnificently for Queensland inside their 22. This is Tessman. Tessman still going, the big fella. If he can unload, he gets it out to Mitch Brennan. Mitch Brennan's put it into overdrive. They won't get him. Brennan underneath the post. Oh, my, what a try. Mitch Brennan right under the black dot. And the Queenslanders go mad. Oh. Watch it again. Here's Tessman, the front rower. Honestly, I'm as quick as this fella. He's made a break, palms them off one after the other. Gets the pass away to Brennan, and Brennan put it into overdrive. And the South Sydney Flyers on his way. The cover coming through Anderson, but they won't get him. And that is one of the most sensational tries in the State of Origin game. Right underneath the sticks.
Yes, again, feeble defence, but the short ball from Tessman's amazing. Just sits it up for Brennan. Beautifully done. And it's only a matter of him going to the line. No one can catch him. Very quick, Brennan. Great try.
Well, Meninga from right in front should not have any trouble with this at all, Meninga. He's only missed one tonight. And there it is, right between the posts. Queensland now 20, leading New South Wales 0. New South Wales have missed 14 tackles so far in this match. In contrast, Queensland have only missed 4. And therein lies the story. Holes appearing everywhere in the New South Wales defensive pattern, and in attack, lack of organisation. 20 points to 0. Now here's Colin Scott, who's played very, very well for Queensland. And look at that, straight through. Now it's Canescu. In fact, the way New South Wales is defending, it's difficult to find a poor player in the Queensland side. Niebling. Murray. Vorton. Losing it. And Whitfield, referee Whitfield, will halt play for the knock-on. The Lang Park crowd hungry for more tries from Queensland. The scrum is 10 metres short of the halfway mark. New South Wales penalty. A quick tap kick from Mortimer. Caught everybody napping. Smart thinking from Mortimer. They're holding him down. Now Gurr, Gavin Miller, Kenny, Cronin. Again, the pass going astray. Miller can't handle it, and Queensland have come up with it again. Dear, oh dear. Now Fullerton-Smith. A again beating the first tackle, unable to offload. That was Bugden missed the tackle. That's the halfway mark you see there. Lewis, Murray. On that occasion, Stan jerked the tackle. Dave Brown caused a lot of damage tonight. Last tackle now for Queensland. Lewis, tackle late, I thought. Play on, says the referee. Well, Lewis, I thought, was hit a little late and around the throat area, but the referee said play on. Queensland still in possession. Murray. 12 metres out. The Lang Park crowd want more tries. Here's Conescu. Able to recover. 10 metres out. Lewis. A clever pass from Lewis.
The New South Wales defence are standing, waiting to see what they're doing.
Fullerton Smith from dummy half. Last tackle for Queensland. Lewis, a drop goal. Is there nothing this fellow can't do? Well, 21-0 the score. Wally Lewis has done everything in a game of football. He's tackled magnificently. He's set up play. Now he's kicking field goals. Well, no wonder they worship him up here. 21 points to 0 in favour of Queensland. They call him the best footballer in Australia. Who could argue?
I'd agree. He's got everything to... does everything right. He's a great player. Got every attribute.
Now it's down for Scott again. This is Gene Miles. Fullerton Smith beat the first tackle again. Vaughton. This time the New South Wales defence holds him. 12 metres short of the halfway mark. Murray, Lewis, Miles losing the ball, and New South Wales come up with it. 21 points to 0. Queensland lead New South Wales.
Thank you, Ian, and they're back on the attack through Krilich. Up to Cronin. Cronin with a nice pass to Anderson. And New South Wales into Queensland's 22. This is Mortimer. Mortimer. He's bundled in a touch. That's bad play from the little fella. Brennan took him and took him in a touch. Queensland again with Murray. Ooh. Pass out for Lewis. He had to dive for it. And they're running at will, Queensland. This is Tessman. Made that good break and almost through again. On to Vaughton. Vaughton claps on the pace. And cheap meters every time the forwards get it. Here's Murray. There's the pass out for Colin Scott. This is Niebling. Gets a pass out for Mitch Brennan. Oh, and a good tackle this time from Marty Gurr. And Wally Lewis holding that jaw. That's him with the ball now, Lewis. The chip over the top. Ball goes loose. Taken by Kenny.
That was smart thinking again of Lewis. Marty Gurr was up to make the tackle. No fullback, so he put the chip over. Brilliantly done.
Wally Lewis down, and he's been holding that jaw too, Wally Lewis. When he's won enough to win 5 games, this fella. Holding his rib as he runs back, Wally Lewis. Chip through from Mortimer. Taken by Colin Scott. Tackled by Krilich right on the halfway line. Scott a bit slow to get up. This is Stacey. Caulfield the tackler. Queensland go the blind side again through Brown. Murray having a blinder. Lewis flicks it back inside to Fullerton Smith. Niebling. This is Tessman. Lewis down again. Tessman still going, having a big game, Tessman. Queensland now to the New South Wales 22. Here's the kick. Taken beautifully by Kenny. Brett Kenny just plucked it out of the air. Anderson. Watch this kick and watch the take from Brett Kenny. Followed it all the way and took it beautifully. Back live. Jerd will play it to Krilich. Bugden. Miller. Jerd. Plenty tough out there and 2 minutes to half time. Score 21-0. Mortimer, chip over the top. Regathers, no, just can't handle it. Still going, Mortimer, but it's a knock-on.
It's the only way that New South Wales can get back into this match. They were totally reliant on him. He's beautiful short chip, but he couldn't pick that one up. Didn't sit up quite high enough for him. But that's about the only way they can get back into this game.
The scrum packed midway between the half and the Queensland quarter. There's the sides lined out for you. Look at this referee. The Englishman love to get into these scrums. Murray. Lewis. Tried to unload. Meninga. Meninga from dummy half. A minute before half-time. Queensland on the boil again, but they put it down. Picked up by Bugden. New South Wales put it down, fallen on by Krilich. Miller. Jerd. Negative play, New South Wales, though. They've got to unload it. Krilich. Miller. This is Kenny. Cronin. Smothering tackle from Queensland. Krilich. Makes the tackle, Max. Canescu. Miller. Fires it out for Mortimer. Mortimer gives it out to Anderson. Anderson with a chip. Taken by Fullerton Smith. Plays it forward, Fullerton Smith, but no. There's the half-time hurdle and the referee running in. And here we go, the scoreline. Queensland 21, New South Wales 0. Penalties. Queensland 4, New South Wales 4. Scrums 4-2, Queensland's favour. Half-time at Lang Park. We'll be back with all the action. But in a moment, Mike Gibson and Arthur Summers.
Welcome back to Lang Park. Second half just commenced from the kick-off, and this is Queensland in possession. And Lewis is still there. We thought he might have had a break at half-time, but he's still going, and so is Queensland. No changes to either side for the second half. Although I think there'll be some New South Wales changes very shortly. Here's Lewis at it again. Down for Marty Gurr. Now Neil Hunt. There are the errors. Missed tackles. Queensland 4, New South Wales 17. Queensland have dropped 10 balls, New South Wales 8. Queensland thrown 5 bad passes, New South Wales have thrown 2. In defence for Queensland, Konescu's made 15 tackles, Vorton 13, Niebling 10. And for New South Wales, Jerd 18 tackles and Kulich and Miller 17 each. In attack, Queensland have gained an average of 60 metres per 6 tackles. New South Wales only 35 metres per 6 tackles. And that's obvious by the score, which is 21-0 in favour of Queensland over New South Wales. Now, Steve Mortimer, straight down Colin Scott's throat. And again, Scott able to lead the first tackle. And Queensland still going away. Here's Meninga. Goodness me, they don't take long to get going, do they? Meninga almost in, but stumbling and putting a foot into touch. Kevin Hastings, the reserve back in the New South Wales side. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him come on shortly.
The sooner the better, too, because he'll come on and will tackle, so they need him on there straight away.
We also need to score some points, Arthur.
Yes, I'd agree, but it's these big forwards are not making their hits properly and they're not moving up in defence, and until they do that, they're not going to get back into this game.
Well, there's another mistake. New South Wales won the scrum, but gave away a penalty. No, it was a knock-on at the scrum base from Steve Mortimer. English referee Robin Whitfield has some rather confusing signals at times. And Queensland have won the scrum. Look at that flick pass from Lewis. That's all class, isn't it? Lewis again. Goodness me, I think Lewis might have made a mistake.
Yes, and recovered though in time, so he's looked after himself very well.
Now Queensland are 15 metres out from the New South Wales line. This is Niebling. All set to go. Queensland lining out. Here's Murray and Meninga. A step from Meninga. And a beautiful pass from Meninga to Brennan. And they're in again. How easy it is for Queensland. That was Meninga. Just one step. He was into the gap. A clever pass to Mitch Brennan, who did the rest. How easy it is. Watch. Murray with the ball. Mal Meninga. A dummy. A step off the right foot. A break was there. Brennan was trailing him through. A simple pass, and Brennan is over for yet another Queensland try.
Most unenthusiastic New South Wales side. That's how slow he took off. Just stepped around the defence, unloaded beautifully to Meninga, to Brennan, and in he went.
So the score, Queensland 25, New South Wales 0. Well, Meninga's conversion attempt was successful. Queensland now 27, leading New South Wales 0. This is Brad Tessman again beating the first tackle. It was Bugden. With regular monotony now. It's Queensland just beating the first line. They're such a well-drilled unit, this Queensland side. Murray. Lewis. Miles. A bad pass. Picked up by Mitch Brennan. Gene Miles. Murray. A There's Kevin Hastings standing by to come on. Kevin Hastings, the reserve back. I wouldn't be surprised if he came on as a forward, but Queensland just continue to put pressure on New South Wales. And here's Marty Gurr on his own goal line.
Certainly right, Ian, and Marty Gurr brings it back now toward the 22. And I tell you what, when the sides picked to play New Zealand, Queensland would have had every right to almost put the entire side in as a test side. Paul Fields coming off, the boy from Cootamundra leaving the field, so obviously Hastings on in his place. Hastings with the first tackle on Scott. Gene Miles. Mitch Brennan had a big game, Brennan. Still going. Bundled into touch. Paul Field looking pretty dejected. But he's made his mark in New South Wales, and we'll see him in Sydney, I would think, around the new year. More of a defeat for New South Wales, but again, Queensland win it through Murray. Hastings affecting the tackle. Lewis. Vorton turns it back inside to Fullerton Smith. Tessman taking play to the 22, gets it away to Konescu. He puts it down. And New South Wales Fulham. Lindsay Johnston going nowhere though. Miller. Floater out for Jerd. Jerd puts the shoulder down and they take him. Arthur Beaton into about his second packet, but feeling pretty happy. This is Cronin unloading, gets it out to Kenny. Lewis with a smile on his face, Mortimer chips, and that one finds a line. Steve Mortimer, well, not having another happy game, but then he's playing with a pretty beaten side, isn't he? Hastings in at lock. Queensland ball. Lewis with a good pass to Miles. And Arthur, they're looking to unload all the time.
Well, they've got time. You see, the defence is not up to meet them. They're waiting for them to come to them, and of course they've got plenty of time to do what they want with the ball.
Mitch Brennan making a return visit to Queensland, and what a big game he's having. Here's Stacey in off his other wing looking for action. Barrel on the 22. Konescu. Murray. 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 Flicks a pass back inside. Niebling takes it. Almost a line. He'll score. Queensland in again. Well, Jerd. Where was he? Missed him. And it's all right to nod your head. They're in again. Oh, listen to the crowd. Watch it again. So easy. Murray having a big game. A run around with Lewis. Connected up. They miss him. The little fellow skirts in over the 22. Flicks it out to Niebling, and didn't he pick it up well off his fingertips? Jerd can't handle him. Right beside the post. Queensland in.
Yeah, it's a great try. Just a simple run around, and Brett Kenny up again too quick. Allowed Murray to go in behind him. Poor pass there from Murray, but magnificently picked up by Niebling, and a great try.
Mal Meninga. Well, he could pick it up and handball it from there. The big fellow won't miss this one. All the way. Queensland go further ahead. Queensland 33, leading New South Wales 0.
Well, how easy it is. Simple run around, the oldest move in the book, and Murray had the gap. Beautifully offloaded. Niebling did very, very well to pick that ball up. Able to stretch out of Stan Jerd's tackle, over for yet another try.
Michael Cronin, the Parramatta sensation. And what a great player he's been for New South Wales and Australia. Kicks off again. Shallow this time. Taken by Fullerton Smith. Well, Arthur, it's been a long time since a New South Wales side copped a flogging like this one.
Yes, there's a few players there, as I said earlier, Darryl, totally out of their depth, and it's a bit unfortunate with the injuries because they could have made a game of this, but with some of the boys there, there's nothing they can do really to stop the flow of maroon jumpers scoring tries.
Murray, Lewis, beautiful pass on Meninga. Meninga unloads again to Miles. Play about 7 metres short of the halfway line. Queensland into the Lang Park. Look at the way they're throwing it around with so much confidence. Why wouldn't they? Borton kicking. Too big. Paul Borton has been kicking a bit for the Manly club in Sydney. Too big on that occasion.
Well, I can't remember a bigger hiding for a New South Wales side than what we're seeing tonight. 33 points to 0. Mortimer was able to dive on that one. Now it's with Kenny and Cronin. Come on, Blues, can we see something tonight? Hastings, Kenny, Chris Anderson. But the Queensland defence too strong. Have him covered all the way. Mortimer, the run around with Krilich.
See, they're reforming quicker than New South Wales in defence, and they're also moving up to stifle their amount of time they've got to play with the ball, and it's as simple as that. But they're doing it very well.
There they are, moving back, as Arthur's pointing out. Now, last tackle for the Blues. Scott knocking on probably the first mistake he's made tonight. Well, the crowd didn't think it was a knock on. I did. And so did the referee. About 18 metres out from the Queensland line. Mortimer, what is he doing? Taking a quick tap. Queensland offside in the scrum, and Mortimer looking to catch everybody by surprise, but all they've managed to do is lose the ball.
It's a comedy of errors here out there.
So Queensland coming away with it. 10 metres out from their own line. Mitch Brennan, who's played very, very strongly. He's had a roving commission from Arthur Beetson. Dave Brown to the 22 line. Gene Miles kicking. Marty Gurr now on his own corner line. Defence is there to meet him. Everything Queensland does turns to gold. Neil Hunt. Now Max Krilich, a little scamper. It's the halfway mark you see there. Mortimer. Kevin Hastings. Now Cronin, there's a gap. And the Blacks go for a scamper. Clever play, it's back inside. New South Wales on the attackers. Kenny got it away to Anderson. And hello, the Blues have scored. Chris Anderson in the corner for New South Wales. Well, we might say about time too. It started here with Mortimer able to offload for Hastings. And finally, Horry selected Cronin, who made the long break. A flick pass inside to Gurr, then picked up by Kenny. And that was a good pass from Kenny back to Chris Anderson. Saw the line, and over he went for the first New South Wales try.
Yeah, it's great work here. But again, it was a little halfback having to take and do the forwards work. And Hastings really makes this try. He sets it up by drawing the two defenders and then unloading beautifully to Cronin, and then it was a procession then. But everyone did their job to perfection. Kenny in particular here stood the defence up, drew three, and then unloaded to Anderson, who went over. Great work.
So the score at Lang Park now, Queensland 33, New South Wales 4. from the touchline. That's Cronin's conversion attempt, a magnificent kick. The score 33-6. We're back live, and New South Wales have made their second change with Jeff Bugden as replaced by Ray Brown. Ray Brown on for New South Wales, Jeff Bugden off. Oh dear, Michael Cronin putting the ball down and picked up quickly by Brennan. It's gone back to Tessman. Now it's Murray. The Maroons are away again. Now on the New South Wales quarter line, Darryl Eastlake.
Thank you, Ian. Well, it's not too often you see Cronin put a ball down, so the pressure mounting. Dave Brown. Tackle on the 22 for New South Wales. This is Konescu. Miles with a big pass out for Scott. Scott unloads again, back into Miles. About 11 metres out. Fullerton Smith hits the line hard. Look at Lewis pushing Konescu out of the way. One of his big passes. Murray. This is Scott. Gets it back to Tessman. Under one Tessman. Still going. This is Miles. Flicks the ball out. Queensland close again, but the defence beats them. Jerd the tackler. That's how close they are. Scramble for possession. And New South Wales win it. Mortimer again, like a little rabbit, scurrying onto the ball. Kulich. This is Hunt. I said it in the first game that Niebling and Wally Fullerton Smith are the tackling twins for Queensland, and they've done it again tonight. That's Murray.
There was a big chance there for New South Wales. The overlap was there, but a poor pass. The game went astray, and unfortunately, the movement fell down.
Murray to feed. Penalty to Queensland.
Yes, young Mortimer not retiring behind the pack.
Quick tap taken by Queensland. This is Meninga. Has his ankle pretty heavily strapped too since he came out in the second half. Back to Lewis. Lewis with another beautiful pass to Murray, hitting him right in the chest, Arthur.
Magnificent pass with the ball, and Mike Eden might take a leaf out of his book as to how to direct passes like that.
Lewis, Miles. Miles darts back inside. Unloads two. This is Scott. Flicks it out again to Fullerton Smith. 10 metres out from the New South Wales line. Stacey. Stacey hits the line hard. Still going, Stacey. About 2 metres short. They go from dummy half through Dave Brown. He's there. Dave Brown. Fair reward too. He's had a big game, Dave Brown. And there it is. The big scoreboard says try. See it again. Dave Brown. Big, bulky and plenty tough. Over for Queensland.
I very doubtful this try. Very doubtful try.
Well, watch closely. Did he get the ball down? Maybe on the line, and on the line is a try, but a very close one.
Change of kickers. Colin Scott is going to have the shot for goal. There's Max Krilich. What a disheartened man he'd be. Kevin Hastings, Ray Brown and Jerd. And what do they say? A picture tells 1,000 stories. Colin Scott. About 20 metres out and probably 5 off centre. There's the angle for you. Well, it's a bit more than 5. Our angle a bit deceptive, but not a difficult attempt. Waved away, though. Score remains Queensland 37, New South Wales 6. Lindsay Johnson, the North Sydney front rower. Brett Kenny certainly been contained tonight. He's had very limited chances, though. There's the kickoff, a shallow one. They're trying to get it back. They do. But they're offside. Well, nothing going right for New South Wales at all. The penalty's gone to Queensland. See it again.
Yeah, it didn't go 10 metres, of course, so it'll be a penalty and free kick back in the centre of the field.
Well, New South Wales obviously got to go back to the basics, as Lewis kicks for touch and finds it. Canescu. This is Dave Brown. Oh, just palming them off and flies off the horse's back. Niebling. Canescu. And Arthur, they're making 2 and 3 metres every time.
Yes, it's unbelievable just what's happening now.
Losing ground this time as Murray turns it back inside for Fullerton Smith. But he makes the amends and dives on it.
It's one of their rare mistakes too. They haven't made too many mistakes tonight, Queensland. Safety first football, but well organised.
Your impressions of the English referee, Robin Whitfield?
Yes, I'm very impressed with him at the moment. He's stuck to his word. Whatever he said he'd do, he's done, and he's been very clear in his decisions.
New South Wales ball. Kenny. Out for Gurr. But going nowhere, New South Wales. It's all one-out stuff. And again, they've got to do more than this.
Oh, certainly have. This is a football lesson that Queensland is giving New South Wales tonight. Outplayed in every department. 6 tries to 1. Now Mortimer. Straight into Murray. Last tackle for the Blues. He's lost it. And the referee putting a scrum down. Watch the ball closely. Mortimer held by Murray. Now see what happens to the ball as he gets up. Knocked out of his hand. A bit of smart thinking. Maybe illegal, but maybe smart from Mark Murray. He got away with it. Queensland on the charge again, but not for long. Well, Queensland have got the penalty. Max is going crook. The referee is talking to Gavin Miller. Evidently he saw something go into a tackle. Yes, that's what he saw, a swinging arm. There's the penalty count for you. Lewis elected to kick for touch rather than kick for goal. Meninga has injured his ankle and is not taking the goal kicks. But I don't blame him. They'd rather score tries anyway. 37 points to 6. Queensland launch another raid. The man they call the Turtle, Greg Canescu. So close. 5 metres out. The runners come, but Tessman's put it down. Stan Jurd fell on it, but penalty to New South Wales, and it's against Fullerton Smith, not allowing Jurd to his feet. Well, although the score is 37 to 6, I can't see anybody leaving the ground. The Queensland crowd here at Lang Park just want more tries from the Maroons. And Lewis, although they're leading so handsomely, calling for a big effort in defence from his players. Lindsay Johnson, Stan Jurd, caught by Canescu and Niebling. Mortimer, a switch of play to Ray Brown. Good one-handed pass back to Miller. Now it's on to Mortimer, and away goes Anderson, but he hasn't got the ball. So a promising raid from New South Wales broke down. This was a smart pass there from Mortimer to Anderson, but he went without it. Now this scrum is just inside the Queensland half. It's back with Gurr. But the defence to him very quickly in the shape of Lewis and Vorton. Gavin Miller out of one tackle. Mortimer. Ray Brown. Short ball from Kenny. Kenny saw daylight. That's a good pass to Jerd. New South Wales showing a little bit of spark now as Jerd plays it just outside the Queensland quarter. Cronin. Out of that tackle. But caught in a very strong hit from Liebling and Dave Brown. Ray Brown. Kenny. Got it back for Neil Hunt. I don't argue from Hunt on Murray. Hunt takes it up to the almost to the quarter line. Last tackle for the Blues. Hastings. That bomb is down Colin Scott's throat. Doesn't take it cleanly. Mortimer's got it, and Mortimer's in for a try. A very soft try in the end, but Mortimer is in for New South Wales. Oh, there go the Crackers again. At 6 tries to 2, they'll be running out of Crackers at this rate. Watch the kick from Mortimer. Oh, Mortimer from Hastings at least. Mortimer may have just been in front of him. Scott went up for it. Didn't take it cleanly, and Mortimer was there, and without a hand being put upon him, was able to score the try.
Had to come back to Hastings, of course, to again control play. They've been a little bit leaderless, New South Wales, in this department, but it was a great bomb, put under immense pressure, and then just a simple flip back, and Mortimer was over for a very soft try.
And the kick from Cronin is successful. So New South Wales have at least put more points on the board. It's 37-12 in favour of Queensland. Here's Cronin's kick. An angle one, but right between the posts. 37-12. And 15 minutes of play remaining. Darryl Eastland.
Lewis ready to restart for Queensland. Arthur, I was about to say before, I'm amazed that New South Wales haven't kicked over this Queensland defence. Now, the first time they've done it, a try results out of it.
That's right. They've not tried any of these things. We've said earlier in the night that the way to get back into the game is to try these little chips and big bombs, but try things, put things on. They're just going one out.
Well, when Hastings came out, he's a good kicker of the ball. Gavin Miller is a good kicker of the ball. Marty Gurr can kick a ball. So there's plenty of kickers in the side, but no one being used because there's no one there to organise them.
Well, a strange part, Darryl, is that there doesn't appear to even be a game plan that they're trying to adopt or play to.
That's Chris Anderson. Ray Brown. Gavin. Bruce Astle coming on for Queensland. We'll see who comes off for Queensland as Johnson unloads to Hastings. They've put it down again. Gavin Miller putting it down. Queensland back in possession. This is Gene Miles. And New South Wales just letting him run at will.
It's a sad indictment on the depth of Sydney football when the second or third best side are not performing terribly well at all.
Well, Queensland now deep in the 22. Here's Murray. And Lewis. Nice pass to Meninga. Gets it out to Scott. Scott trying to link up with Brennan, but couldn't. Meninga going off with that bad ankle as Vorton gets a good ball out, and it's put down. Mal Meninga, the giant centre for Queensland, going off with that bad ankle. His place taken by number 14, Bruce Astle. Mortimer feeds. New South Wales scrum. Cronin. Gene Miles, very big tackler. This is Hunt. Tackled by Lewis, Cowboy style. Mortimer on the Miller. They get it on to Kenny. Chance. Here's Gurr. Gurr split him. Turns it back inside. Oh, no, put it down. Well, New South Wales have just butchered another one. The points went begging. Watch it again. Here's Kenny with a good pass to Gurr. Gurr makes good territory. Has a look. Saw where Mitch Brennan was. Turns it inside. And Kenny puts it down. Well, Queensland won the scrum, but the penalty has gone to New South Wales. Well, that's a strange signal, Arthur. I'm not really sure what it's for.
Yes, we've just given him a rap earlier, but we can't work out what he's decided to give these penalties for at the moment.
The New South Wales take the kick, and that takes play to the 22. Grillage on the Jerd. Jerd looking to unload, but can't. Brown and Tessman, the tacklers.
There's no support there anyway. There's no one coming off him short or trying to back up.
This is Mortimer. 37-12, Queensland lead. They go the blind side to Kenny. Kenny unloads to Gurr. Gurr puts a good pass up for Anderson. Anderson in for a try. Waited for the referee's signal in. And Anderson in, and another bunger goes off. Try, says the board. Say it again, they elected to go the blind side. This is Kenny. Gurr into the movement. Gets through some feeble defence then. Scott misses Anderson. Anderson just in the corner.
Yes, I think this switch of players worked a couple of times now for the breaks to be made, and it's been mainly Marty Gurr that's been doing it well. Good try there to Anderson.
Mick Cronin placing the ball on the junction of the 22 and the touchline, so a difficult attempt, but his last attempt he potted from there. There it is, there's the junction for you. Powerful kicker of the ball is Mick Cronin. Moves into it. Certainly got the height, got the distance, and gets the 2 points to a magnificent kick from Mick Cronin. He's second from that area of the ground. And the score now, Queensland 37, New South Wales 18.
Well, New South Wales have made the score a little respectable. Is it too much to expect them to come back from here, Arthur?
Not really. There's a weakness developing on the right side of the field with Queensland, and they've got to block this or stop this or close it up if they can. But that's where their switch of play is. They're making good ground, and they've done it quite a number of times.
Down for Chris Anderson.
Yeah, I'm sure Wally Lewis, though, has had them in a bunch there and is going to tighten that area up. He's had a long talk to them.
On the New South Wales quarter. This is Gavin Miller. Now Mortimer. A switch to Ray Brown. Brown trying to get that ball around the tackler. Has lost it. Canescu has it. Now it's Niebling. 27 metres out from the New South Wales line. Fullerton Smith puts his head down. Mark Murray. Caught by Miller. Lewis. Still able to offload cleverly to Vaughton. Murray. Tessman. Back to Murray, caught by Jerd. Last tackle for the Maroons. 20 metres out from the New South Wales line. What will Lewis do? The bomb. Pressure for Gurr. But taken magnificently by Marty Gurr.
He's had a very good game, Gurr. He's been incisive in his attack, and in defence like that has been very, very good.
Watch how he takes this bomb. There was plenty of pressure for him too. Went up well to take it. Now here's Steve Ella. Mortimer shaped a kick. Throws the ball forward. And referee Whitfield calling it back. Dave Brown leaving the field for Queensland. He's had a very strong game, this fellow. Very strong game. The new player in the side will be number 15, Gavin Jones. Mortimer at the scrum base, caught by Fullerton Smith. Kenny, Cronin. But Cronin caught by Miles and Wally Lewis. 10 metres out, here's Max Krilich. Neil Hunt back to Mortimer, now to Kenny. And here's Marty Gurr. Arthur, you were saying what a fine game he's having, and he's into the clear. The kick through, a race for the ball. That's a great kick from Gurr. Kenny's there for it, but so's Stacey for Queensland. Oh, Stacey's gone without it. It's picked up by Ella. Ella running around the defence. A long ball for Anderson. There's number 3 for Chris Anderson. Oh, what a try from New South Wales. A magnificent effort. The bungers go off again. This is almost length of the field, this try. It started from 10 metres out virtually with that pass to Kenny. Drew the defence and cleverly slipped it to Marty Gurr. Gurr got past Fullerton Smith. Down the touchline. Beautifully centre kick by Gurr. Kenny was chasing it. I thought that Stacey had it, but Stacey made an awful mess of it. Towed through by Ella, picked up by Ella. He ran around the defence there of Gavin Jones, the new reserve player, and that pass out to Chris Anderson, and the try line was open, and Anderson did it for number 3.
Yeah, very bad mistake here by Stacey. And it was just a matter of dashing and darting and unloading wide for Anderson to take the ball and go over.
Now here's Michael Cronin, 8 metres in from touch. He's been kicking magnificently. And this one is not so good, unfortunately. So the score, Queensland 37, New South Wales 22. 15 points the difference, 7 minutes of play remaining. Arthur Beetson, who was actually smiling at half-time, doesn't look so happy now.
He's still well ahead of him, and of course, again, that break was made down on the right-hand side touchline.
This is a good comeback from New South Wales, well beaten, and they probably still will be well beaten too, but it's been a good comeback to at least make the scores respectable. Now, Kenny just outside his quarter line. Stan Jerd losing the ball, then picked up by that man, Lewis. That Lewis just is everywhere, isn't he? Fullerton Smith. 12 metres out from the New South Wales line. Canescu. This is Gavin Jones. On the 10-metre mark. Murray takes play to only 8 metres from the New South Wales line. Now it's back with Astle. 3 metres out. Last tackle for Queensland. Lewis, the bomb. Pressure for Gurr and Kenny. They both go up for it. In fact, it was Kenny who came down with it. Hastings. Back for Cronin. They're certainly playing to this right-hand flank, Arthur.
Well, that seems to be a weakness out there, and I've been trying to pick up why it is, and I think it might be the winger on that far side. He's not moving up to making the tackle when he should do.
Now, Lindsay Johnson playing it. Back to Hastings, just short of the quarter line. 37-22. Queensland lead New South Wales. 5 minutes remaining. Hastings being forced back by Murray and Liebling. Last tackle for the Blues. The chip kick from Gavin Miller. Been picked up by Stan Jerd. But that will be the changeover, and I think that's the first changeover of the match. Now Stacey. So we've had to wait 35 minutes to see a changeover in this match. This is Miles. Fullerton Smith to the quarter line. 4 minutes remaining. Murray. The cutout pass. Astle can't handle it. Been picked up by Stacey. I thought there was a knock on there, but the referee said play on. And Stacey now on the New South Wales quarter line. Lewis found Vaughton. Vaughton finally held by Ray Brown and Horry Hastings. Another beautiful pass found Tessman. Back it goes for Scott, but he's gone without it. Marty Gurr can't handle it. Stacey's picked it up. He's thrown it away. Nobody wants it. And finally, referee Whitfield will put the scrum down.
Very scrappy football there. Not terribly good. But still, the game's nearly sewn up for Queensland, but they've given New South Wales a bit of a football lesson here tonight.
Couldn't agree more. 3 minutes remaining in the game.
A football lesson, Ian, of organisation and the ability to show determination and will to win.
Now here's Mortimer. One of the few scampers from the scrum base we've seen tonight. Cronin to Ella. Ella's got support inside with Anderson. Beautifully picked up by Mortimer again, but Mortimer's put it down. And Mitch Brennan comes up with it for Queensland. Now Murray finding Gavin Jones, and the big replacement forward is in the clear, being chased by Hunt. Hunt's beautifully tackled him around the ankles, only 2 metres from the line. But the big replacement forward was just about in. Queensland get the penalty. Been kicked away again by Marty Gurr.
Quite right, the decision there by the referee, of course, and great tackle there by Hunt. It was about all Hunt could do. The try was on, but he wouldn't let the leg go, and then someone else finally came in, Marty Gurr, and pushed him down, so there was nothing the referee could do but award the penalty.
Now, Wally Lewis wants the tap. They want more tries. One of the few passes that didn't find a player. Here's Miles. It doesn't matter. Miles has scored. Well, Wally Lewis threw a pass out there that bounced, but Miles was able to scoop it up and go on and score another try unhindered. Watch it. That long pass. It bounced once. Miles juggled it. Stepped off his left foot. The line was open, and Miles easily in for yet another try.
Well, that's disgraceful football from New South Wales. Up too far, Kenny. No one came across to defend, and he just stepped inside him. No defence there and run over the line. Unbelievably bad football.
Well, that try by Gene Miles takes the score to 41-22. Arthur, I can't remember a bigger hiding to a New South Wales side.
No, I'd agree with you, Ian. I don't think ever in the history of the game has there been a score that big against New South Wales. It's been the other way, of course, in the early days.
Now Colin Scott, the replacement kicker for Meninga. A pretty easy kick for Scott. No problems at all. Right between the posts. 43 points to 22 is the score. And we have 1.5 minutes remaining. Interesting statistic, Arthur. New South Wales have missed 33 tackles. 33 tackles. New South Wales.
Certainly the story of the night, Ian, isn't it? That's the unbelievable story. Quality first-grade players, or supposedly, missing that many tackles.
In contrast, Queensland have only missed 9. This is Tessman taking the kick. you'll hear the crowd start to count down from about 15 seconds. There is a minute to go. 43-22 the score. This is Jones. Caught by Miller and Jerd. So Queensland have wrapped up the State of Origin series, the Winfield series. Congratulations to them. They certainly deserved it. A very polished performance from a well-drilled outfit. Mark Murray, Wally Lewis. Now it's Gene Miles. Right on the halfway mark. 20 seconds remaining. We'll hear the countdown. 15 seconds. The last 10. Listen to it. The crowd will tell the story. There it is. Stan Jerd diving on the loose ball. The victorious coach, Arthur Beetson. Congratulations to him and to his fine team. Queensland have defeated New South Wales 43 points to 22. Let's have a look at the statistics. The penalties finished up 8-all. The scrums almost even. Favoured New South Wales 9-8. Lang Park being converged upon by the well-wishers. The boys back to the dressing rooms. Coming in, they'll be swapping jumpers and shaking hands. Marty Gurr with Colin Scott exchanging jumpers. So there it is, 43-22, back at Lang Park shortly.